Dun 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 dun. If you wish you were Jaws. I'm actually just looking at a wall right now, but I'm looking at that. Um, this franchise wishes it was. Then again, Jaws wishes it had the box office results that the first movie had. How much did the original Jaws make? Now that I think about it, I'll look that up while I'm talking about the Meg 2, The Trench, coming off of the unbelievable success of the original one. So how much did how about the original Jaws make? 476 million. Okay, the original one made a lot of money on a really low budget. I'm getting the original Meg of the Meg. Shut up, Meg. But the Meg. There we go. The Meg. Oh yeah, $530 million against the $130 million budget. Oh my God, they brought the budget down $1 million for this film. It found its life overseas. No pun not intended. It found a lot of its money in overseas. But no, all the other Jaws movies wish they were the second one, or the Meg. But so now we have the Meg 2. Now the Meg movies are in fact based off, I believe they're Richard Crichton books. I think they're based off those. Let me just see it. The Meg book. Meg novel by Stephen Attell or Attell, Stephen Attell. And there are a lot of this is a series of books. This is also there's also a spin-off involving Loch Ness as well. It's followed by The Trench and Meg Primal Waters. So hypothetically, if this film gets a sequel, this would be the next one in the this would be the next one after it. Let's see here. He feels overwhelmed by having to deal with a lot of past. I don't know what I just pressed. TV. Okay. The events described from Waters, held daughter, but neither of the spells are aware that they have entered the latest feeding zone of Megs, as Angel has returned to the surface. Waters from the trench and is being. Oh, anyway, so yeah, and again, like I said, there's also the Loch Ness book. There's a book called, I think, The Loch, which I actually think I remember reading. That is based off this. Now that I'm almost 3 minutes in, what I think of the original? Well, I have a review for the original one when that came out. The original one, it's a fun schlocky. I wouldn't go so far as even say schlock. It is a fun movie. It's a fun giant killer, shark killer, animal monster movie with Jason Statham. Who doesn't want Jason Statham? Fight, kick, and leg, kick up some sharks. Turn him into his Jason Statham's, the seafood varieties. Jason Statham's, by the way, is a running joke me and Mark have about Jason Statham from a movie called Safe, where he's he always plays. He's a badass who was trying to get out, and bad stuff happened, and in one scene he's back up with his former teammates who are all crooked, and they bring him a sandwich. He's like, it's like, Jason Statham's. Where was that character in frickin' Food Fight? Food Fight. I ask you. No, Sausage Party. I ask you. But the first Meg is fun. It's a lot of fun. Good effects, good fun action. Jason Statham's pretty solid in there. Yeah, I had a good time with the original Meg. So I see this and I'm like, well, this isn't going to be anywhere near as good as the original Meg. And spoilers for my overall thoughts, I was right. But I thought it would be at least a fun. This one to me felt schlocky. This one felt like, okay, we made money off the first one. Let's see if we can get anything else out of this franchise while we're here. Hell, the original movie isn't even that well rated. This one's coming in right now at 27%. The original was 46%, and yet 43% of the audience liked it, but it made $530 million. So this is one of those scenarios where even the audience was wrong, I guess. No one's really wrong. It's all opinion. Like I said, not as good as the original, but was it schlocky fun? Yeah, it was schlocky fun. I can't say it's a good movie, but it's schlocky fun. It's following up with like a couple years later from the original. The Megs are a lot more aware of them. They've been studying the Megs. They have a Meg in captivity. It eventually escapes, and the reason for it being escaping is because Megs need to breed. They got the urge, the primal urges, and they go back down. And while doing so, and by the way, this is in the freaking IMDb description, so I am not spoiling anything with this. While they go down beneath the trench again, a research team encounters multiple threats while exploring the depths of the ocean, including a malevolent mining organization. Yes, there are evil people who have figured out how to get down there and are mining precious metals, all while avoiding the horrors of the trench that are not just megalodons. There's the kraken you see in there, the giant octopus. There's these little dinosaur lizard things. So yeah, it's that's basically it. And everything just kind of feels a little downgraded to a degree. I think that's the best way to put it. Jason Statham still is probably the only guy in this movie who's escaping without any sort of like slight against him in terms of as like performance or character. Him and Paige Kennedy, because Paige Kennedy they actually gave more to do playing returning as DJ. Cliff Curtis comes back as Mac, and I don't know if Shuya Sophia Kai, who played the daughter of the scientist, is the same girl who played her in the original. But she's back as well. The mother's no longer in the scene. And when I put two and two together of why the mother may have died, because they don't actually say why she died, I'm like, oh, no, you couldn't get the actress back, so that's what you did. Oh, bad taste in the mouth. Kind of tasteless, a little tasteless, to be honest. But yeah, Jay, he's the only one. They give him a lot more hand-to-hand fighting in this one. Because, I mean, he was a Navy diver. So, and like a rescue diver. So so in theory, he would definitely know how to fight, but just he's doing Jason Statham fighting. So he is definitely going whole hog on these guys. He's like doing like saboteur missions, espionage, all that stuff. They get back. She's now with the daughter's now with the uncle, the brother of her mother, who is actually a lot of fun. He's kind of a crazy scientist in many ways. Jing Wu is the actor's name. I think that's the character's name as well. And he's like a billionaire, and he's got arrangements and all that. And they go to the trench, and then things go awry. So, like I said, Jason Statham and I'd even go DJ are the only ones who escaped, came back, and came out with full dignity intact. Although Jin Woo was alive, so maybe I'd add him there. Everyone else is either making just the same decisions or poor decisions. The girl keeps making choices in this movie. Mei, his adopted daughter, basically, keeps making choices that I have to go, stop. You're 14. And he even says that, there's like, you're 14. I'm like, oh, God. Like, she makes some stupid-ass decisions, despite being very intelligent. The villains are the most cookie-cutter villains. This is not a good script, by the way. Jason Statham is trying to sell his lines as best he can, which is why I say he's one of the only people who's able to kind of get out of here unharmed. But, oh man, some of the dialogue they have is bad. It's just bad. You know, I was like, that was close. Too close. like my Jason Statham's a little gruff. He speaks more like with a heart, like a loud whisper. But he's, but then you get like the villains. Oh my God. Like, I actually appreciate the fact that we don't need to focus on them as much. They're like not really important to the plot except being greedy humans. But oh my God, they're barely one-dimensional. Like, that's how cookie cutter and blasé they're acting. This villainous businesswoman. It's just so, and like this one guy who he got sent to jail is back after and fight him again. He's the arch villain. He's like his arch rival. And every time he gets like put down to the ground, I'm like, how are you getting back up? You should have like multiple concussions, brain damage, your nose should be caved in. You're just getting back up. Like, it's not, what? How? God. I will say that where the film picks up is definitely, it's kind of
fun in the trench, although when there's action sequences, it's very difficult to figure it out. The shark effects are still solid, but I think the first film's effects were better. The effects on like the little dinosaurs you see in the trailer are good. The octopus is fine. You don't see a lot of those. The octopus is just there to be basically do job to the megalodon, more or less. Basically, once you get into the final third, it does really start to pick up because now all the megs are loose. They're eating people. You got the creatures attacking people on the beach. That's where it really starts to pick up, and it gets funny. It does get fun again. It's off and on fun throughout the rest of the film. It's very much slogging at points. And I think apart from a bad script, my biggest criticism of this movie is like literally, I'm not joking. It's like minimum like 7 movies, all in one. You got the original mix. So there's one. It's got a little bit of Jaws. Every shark movie's gonna have a little Jaws, but literally they are doing some stuff that's like ripping off Jaws a little bit. It turns into Jurassic Park. Hell, it turns into a Tremors movie, particularly Tremors 7. But it turns into a Tremors movie at one point. It turns into The Abyss. It turns into Underwater. You know that film that came out right before the pandemic? Of course you don't, because it came out right before the pandemic. You didn't see it. Barely they made any money. I thought it was a pretty good film. But it turned into Underwater at points. It's turning into any sort of corporate espionage movie you can think of. Leviathan. It turns into Leviathan. Was it Leviathan? Yeah. Leviathan. Yeah, it's turning into Leviathan. At one point because of the corporation trying to hide it. Maybe a little bit of Alien thrown in there. Now I'm up to 8, by the way. What else do I got here? Training, the Jurassic World, like I said, because one scene they say you're trying to train a Meg. What else we got here? What else can I throw out right? Oh, we had the Black Demon, but technically Black Demon might be ripping this up. The Black Demon, sure, let's throw the Black Demon in there. Between the 2 shark movies, this is the better movie that came out this year. At least the 2 I saw. You got the Black Demon. What else is there anything else I can just think of off the top of my head that I can just throw in here? No, I think I'm good. Oh, sorry. There's a bit of Star Wars at one point in here. They're trying to avoid rock debris falling, and they're literally flying little subnauticals, driving little subnauticals through the inky black void, basically like flying a ship through an asteroid field. This movie is trying to be so many movies wrapped into one, and it doesn't really have an identity of its own because of that. The Megalodons are really not in it very much until the final act of the film. They're just kind of there for a little bit, and then they're just not there anymore. Then they're like among the big pieces of the final act. So yeah, I mean, look, this is not a good film. I would argue that it might be it's probably going to be on my worst film of the year list. Now, just because I say something is on my worst film of the year list doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad film. Conversely, just because something's on the best film of the best, what I mean by that is this: just because I like a film doesn't mean I acknowledge it's good. I think that's the better way for me to put it. I had fun with this film. It is schlocky and therefore fun, but that doesn't mean I think it's a good film. That's the best way to put it. It's bad, but it's a fun bad. If you want a fun bad creature feature with Jason Statham, you'll have fun with this. But be prepared for some bad dialogue and a lot of stealing from other movies. And not seeing a lot of the Megs until the final act. That is just my take on the movie, though. If you've seen the movie, what did you think? If you haven't seen the movie, do you think you're going to go see the movie? Let me know in the comments below. Honest and truly, I want to know, because I liked the first movie. I'm like, oh, cool, I got another one. I'm like, cool, we got another one. So, anyway, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.